So I don't know about you, but draft season is the longest period on the calendar. But we finally made it. Patriots are going to draft the 15th overall, or so they're scheduled to make. And while a lot of the talk is about quarterbacks after months and months and months of breakdowns, we might have a surprise here. They could go defense. They could trade back. I know in your mock draft, you have the Patriots going corner.
I do, because I think their mind, for quarterback anyway, I think Jimmy Garoppolo is kind of lurking there. And if they're going to get him ultimately, eventually, or whenever, there's no need to take a quarterback with that first pick. So you take one of the best defensive players, at least in my mind, who may be sitting at 15. They're going to need a cornerback. Both Stephon Gilmore and J.C. Jackson are in the final years of their deals. I could see them going for J.C. Horn there, but I can also, with the same premise in mind, see them drafting a linebacker because, again, someone's going to have to fill Dante Hightower's role, whether it's next year or the year after.
Yeah, and at that linebacker spot, Zaven Collins might make a whole lot of sense out of Tulsa.
Love him.
There aren't too many fits. Getting off on a good note in case he lands here. You can just point to this video and be like, Zaven, always been a big fan. But wide receiver is another area that, look, we've been talking about for years here. They added some depth in free agency, but you'd still like some youth in there, especially if N'Keal Harry will be dealt as expected. So, the top names that might drop at least to 12, Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith could be there. But then again, like the quarterbacks, might involve a trade up if they want to nab one in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, if Jalen Waddle is sitting there at 15, I can't run and put my pick in fast enough. Again, when you're talking about replacements, you don't have a natural slot receiver to replace Julian Edelman. Jalen Waddle it would be a terrific choice in that role. And again, if you really want the offense to improve, assuming you get the quarterback, he would be a great weapon to have. But with this draft being loaded with wide receivers, they could also there are other slot options that they could get later on in the draft, whether it's a second round, someone like Rondale Moore.
Right.
So it will be interesting to see. And again, if there's a new philosophy going on with the Patriots, is Bill Belichick going to let others into the room and help him make the pick, especially for an offensive player? We'll see.
Yeah, Robert Kraft alluded to that in his press conference that they've seen adjustments in their draft process. We don't know exactly what those are going to be, but wide receiver is a great point. And Shi Smith out of South Carolina, another name to know. Elijah Moore, perhaps Nico Collins out of Michigan. So we'll get you out on this. I mean, we've talked quarterbacks, we talk receivers, we talk corners. Is there just one bold prediction that you feel like is a little bit further out there that you think, regardless of position, this is something that, this sounds crazy, but I'm gonna bank on the Patriots pulling this off?
Well, it might not be bold, knowing Bill Belichick's history, but it might be bold considering they're at number 15. I think he might trade down to acquire another asset, and still have an asset later in the first round and more ammunition in the second round, where, again, if you go by his history in wanting more value, he will drop down the board. Maybe he can get both Landon Collins and a wide receiver if he does that.
All right. Well, one of us is going to be right, because my bold prediction is they're going to trade up multiple times. We saw this 4 times last year in the way they went up and got their tight ends. They even got Josh Uche. And I think the market right now is skewing towards teams want more picks in 2022, and they feel more confident about the information available on these prospects. And there's just a smaller class this year in terms of the number of players who have signed with agents. So the Patriots say, look, that's another market opportunity we want to exploit. We'll go up. We've got 10 picks. We don't have 10 roster spots for rookies right now with the roster the way it's constructed. I think they go up in the second round and even in the third. So either way, it should be fun. I hope they trade up. That's always more exciting for us, even on deadline. But the draft is finally here. Roster holes to fill, questions to be answered, and we cannot wait for Karen. I'm Andrew here at Gillette Stadium.